Okay, I'm back with our next measure of center. So now the next two that we talk about are, of course, going to be the ones that you maybe haven't heard as much about. This one's called the trimmed mean. So because the mean is affected by outliers, we can reduce or eliminate their effect by calculating a trimmed mean or trimming some of those outliers off. So to do that, we drop, and it just says K% of the values from each end of a ranked data set, and then calculate the mean of the remaining values. So, and I just said make sure to drop the same percent of scores from the lower end as from the upper end. Obviously, we want that to be the same so that we're not taking some amount off the top but no amount off the bottom. Next, there we go. So here's an example of doing a trimmed mean. The following data give the money spent on books during 2015 by 10 students selected from a small college. There they are. That can be a lot of money. Almost $2,000, well, over $2,000. Yeesh. And this person clearly did not buy all the books they needed, $87. Anyway, we're going to calculate the 10% trimmed mean, meaning that we need to get rid of the top 10% and the bottom 10%. In this case, because we're only dealing with 10 students, that basically means we're going to be taking off the highest value and the lowest value. Sometimes this can give us a little bit better picture of what's happening. So we first have to rank the data. So this is how it gets ranked. Calculate the 10% trimmed mean. We drop 10% of the data values. 10% of 10 is 1. So we drop one value from each end of the ranked data. After we drop two values, one from each end, we're left with the following 8 values. Holy moly, I didn't see this one earlier, $5,000. So we have these 8 values remaining, and we would find the mean based on these only 8 values. So we'll sum up all of those 8 values, 12,285. Divide it by 8, and we find out that the mean amount was $1,535.63. Okay, so $87 and obviously $5,403 would be outliers. So it was better probably to calculate a trimmed mean to get rid of those than to leave them on there. Okay, I will tell you that in sometimes when I'm looking at the average of test scores and somebody just absolutely didn't try whatsoever and got 5% on a test, but I don't want to include that in the average. I'll do a trimmed mean where I'll take off that low score, but I also take off one of the high scores, and then kind of see where the rest of the data was. So here, that's a trimmed mean. Next, we're going to talk about the weighted mean. This is when different values of a data set occur with different frequencies. That is, each value of a data set is assigned different weight. GPA is a really good example of a weighted mean. So you maybe didn't realize that when you worry so much about GPA that you're dealing with a weighted mean. Then it talks here about how to calculate one. We denote the variable by X and the weights by W. You add all of the weights together and we call that sigma W. Then we multiply the value of X by the corresponding value of W by its weight. And then we get and sum those things together and we get sigma XW. And then we divide those two values together to get the weighted mean. So we're going to see a couple of examples of this. Oh, yeah. See, here it is again, but it's a little bit nicer. I don't know what was going on with that last slide. So sorry. Take it from here. Yay. All right, so here is just kind of the symbolic representation of how to find the weighted mean. Okay, so we have that. So let's look at a couple of examples. Maura bought gas for her car 4 times during June of 2015. She bought 10 gallons at $2.60. And you can see the rest of that, 13 gallons, 8 gallons at a different price, 15 gallons at a different price. What was the average price that Mara paid for gas in 2015. So what we need to do is set up a table. Okay, so the price of gas is going to be the variable. That's what we're trying to find out, the average price of gas. So that's what we have there. The gallons of gas, that's our weight, because we bought more gas at $2.75 than we did at $2.60. This carries a greater weight in the answer. We multiply the price times the gallons of gas to get XW. We sum both of these columns, and then we divide them to find out the average cost for a gallon of gas for all the month of June was $2.72. Okay. Now I came up with another example that was just for instance, calculating a college GPA. So you'll take different courses that are all different numbers of credit hours. For instance, in this class, you're getting 3 credit hours. And so an A in a 5 credit hour class is worth more on the GPA than an A in a 2 credit hour class. So that's why sometimes those smaller credit hour classes really don't mean as much as far as your GPA goes. They're still very important than the larger ones. So let's suppose that a college freshman took the following classes and earned the following grades. A college algebra that was 4 credit hours and got an A. History 101, 3 credit hours got a B. French 110, 3 credit hours got a B. And chemistry, 5 credit hours and got an A. So here's what we would do. We need to also assume that an A earns 4 points and a B earns 3 points. So here are all the classes. The grade points earned, so for college algebra, because this person had received an A, they earned 4 grade points. However, that class was a 4 credit hour class. That is the weight of the class. So they actually earned 16 really points for that class. In history, earned 3 grade points because they got a B, and the credit hours, it was worth 3, so that gives it a 9. You can see then French, and then again for chemistry. Then the sum of all the weights was 15. The sum of all the points earned over here, XW, is 54. So when we divide those two, we find out that this person earned a 3.6 GPA. Now, sometimes people think, oh, I have the same number of A's and the same number of B's. That should put me right in the middle of an A and a B, which would be a 3.5. But notice that we had 9 of our 15 credit hours, right, earned 4 points apiece. And so because those classes were more credit hours, they weigh more heavily in the GPA, and you get A's in those, it helps your GPA go up. So I hope that makes sense, using something that maybe you've heard about or seen before. And yeah, if not, we can talk more about GPA when I get back. Okay, so next class you will work on an assignment from this section. So bring your book to class so you can work hard. That's all I have for section 3.1. So yeah, next time you'll work on the assignment and you can enjoy the rest of your day today. See you later.